Schumacher! It's Schumacher! Incredible!
Max Verstappen, champion of the world!
Hey everyone, welcome to Track Limits, the official Formula One show of Above the Yellow Line. I'm Dom Joseph. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this show. Really excited to bring Formula One content to all of you NASCAR fans and bring you into the world of F1 that has, in recent months for sure, exploded across the globe. So what I'm going to do today, this is just a brief introduction video. We're not going to get into all the F1 stuff that's been going on since the championship ended. In this episode, just going to give you a brief rundown of what to expect coming up in the upcoming weeks and months. So here's a rundown of what we're going to go over in the episodes following here on Track Limits. So this is going to be a full in-depth show about the world of the Formula One World Championship. So you're going to get full coverage of everything that there is to know about F1, all the news and updates, everything breaking, fully up to date on what's going on in F1. We'll go over the schedule, we'll keep you on track with the schedule, and give you full track layout details, because I know, especially in terms to NASCAR, where it is a perfect oval racetrack, very simple, very easy to remember and understand. These F1 race courses are very complex, and a lot of the corners are difficult to remember, and a lot of different passing zones are hard to remember. And again, that's another thing about Formula One. There's only so many parts on a racetrack where you can actually complete a pass. So we'll go into all of that, make sure you're ready for the upcoming race. So other things we're going to cover on the show is facts, things that you need to know about F1, especially if you're new to the sport and you haven't been following, but especially after what happened last year, you want to get into F1. We'll bring you up to full detail of what's going on in F1, things you do need to know for sure, and some other things that are just fun to know about the history of F1, because F1's history is just unbelievable. And we'll teach you who the big name drivers are in F1, both past and present, and what they've all done to make an impact in Formula One. And then another thing too that I want to make different about the show is the entertainment. I want it to be fun. Just want to put on a good show for you guys, show you why Formula One is so much fun to watch. It's not just a string out of race cars just going around the track. It's so much more than that. And the biggest names, the biggest brands are in this sport. It's the most luxurious, the most exciting sport on the planet. I really want you to be able to understand why this is such a big sport in Europe and across the globe, and why it's starting to get even bigger in the United States. And then the last thing for me is education, and that's the one challenge I'm putting on myself for you guys, and it's that I want to be able to teach you guys about F1 and the differences between F1 and NASCAR, F1 and IndyCar, which is very similar to F1. The things you do need to know about the race cars and the race strategies, and I'm going to break it down so that it's actually very simple to learn, because especially for me personally, trying to learn about Formula One, it's complex. It's very complex. It's a difficult sport to learn if you're really trying to learn about the cars and the strategy. It is very complex. It is the best engineers, the best data analysts on the planet going out and working on multi-million-dollar race cars that are scientifically built for speed and nothing else. So I'll be sure to break all that down for you. So you're probably asking yourself, why is a NASCAR page covering Formula One? Well, did you see how last year's season ended in F1?
The safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. Is Verstappen far enough back? He's going to make the lunge down the inside.
He's going to go down the outside. If Verstappen keeps it tight and neat, but he hasn't, he's gone a little bit wide.
No, Mikey, no, Mikey, that was so not right.
He's got a slipstream. He almost touches Verstappen. They almost make contact, and it's going Dutch in 2021.
Yeah, so that's why we're going to be covering F1 this year, because, I mean, the whole world tuned into that championship race. There have been so many great title battles in the history of F1, of which we'll go over as the year goes on. But the two best drivers on the planet. Max Verstappen, an incredibly young and over-the-top talented race car driver, going against the record-tying 7 times champion of the world, 4 times consecutively, Lewis Hamilton, for the world title, where winner takes all, and that's how it ended. Good grief. Yeah, we had to get into F1, and I've fallen in love with the sport the last couple of years. It just means so much to me. I've got a lot of personal stories with it, but yeah, F1, man, it blew up in 2021, and us here at Above the Yellow Line, we're jumping on the bandwagon. I mean, we got to cover the sport for you guys. And again, we're here to show you the world of F1 while you're watching NASCAR, and showing you why this is so much fun to watch. And it's just so big in F1. Everything is so much bigger. The stakes are higher, and the payouts are much bigger, that's for sure. A lot more money in F1. Because it's the world championship. That's the other thing. That's the most important thing. You know, the chase for the NASCAR Cup is huge. It's the pinnacle of stock car racing. But this is the world championship of motor racing. Max Verstappen is the champion of the world. Just saying that just gives you an idea of how important F1 is to the world and to racing. And that's why we're diving out of our comfort zone in NASCAR and moving on into Formula One, so that not only we can follow this sport and see how exciting it is, but we can bring it to you, teach you about the sport, so when you turn it on before the Cup race comes on, you can see, man, what a good show this is. And now I understand the definitions of these races, what's actually going on, and why they're doing the things they're doing. So that's why we're bringing Formula One to this NASCAR page. So again, something that we continue to bring up here is learning and the education of Formula One, wanting to teach you about Formula One. Because there's so much to learn in F1. I'm still learning about F1, and I've been following the sport for about 3.5, 4 years now. So there's so much to know, and one thing right off the bat is, you're probably thinking this is a Team Mercedes shirt because of this crest. This is actually a McLaren shirt. McLaren hat, this is actually a McLaren shirt. Back in the day when Mercedes wasn't in the sport, they were known as McLaren Mercedes. So things like that, things you didn't know. I mean, Mercedes has only been back in F1 for 11 years. They started back in 2010. They came back to the sport in 2010. But before that, they were engine builders for teams like McLaren. So things like that you maybe didn't know, and are very, very important to know as the season goes on. So things like that. Want to teach you about F1, the history of F1, how the cars run, what makes them so unique, and why this is the greatest spectacle in motorsports. So you've probably noticed by now that there are multiple wardrobe changes in this show. And yeah, want to keep you on your toes. But again, that's another thing that we want to do on this show. We want to make it fun, keep it lighthearted. I want to be able to teach you guys, talk about all the facts, all the information that you need to know, but we're going to have fun doing it. And that's something that we really want to stand out with and be different from everybody else. We want to be fun, energetic, and not only just producing this show, Track Limits, but also producing extra stuff on social media and keeping you guys entertained, not just on the show day, but every day, and giving you guys all that entertainment and lighthearted stuff and making it fun, so that whenever we post something, you're excited to see it, and you want to dive into it right away and see what quirky things happen and what things you can learn and what things are going to make you laugh. If you're looking for us on social media, aside from here on the YouTube channel watching Track Limits, check us out on social media @_Track Limits in all caps _ That is our Twitter page, and then @Above the Yellow Line on Instagram, and @_Taylor Kitchen _ Those are the main pages to follow Above the Yellow Line, and on social media, Instagram, Twitter, you can find us all there. So we're not just posting here on YouTube, we're also posting on Twitter and Instagram. We're going to keep you guys up to date with the latest, up-to-the-date information, stats, breaking news. Anything you guys need to know, we will always have it there for you on those social media pages. So it's not just here on YouTube with the weekly shows. We've also got you covered on social media every day, top of the hour, on the hour, As soon as things come out, we're going to send it right to you. So a little bit about me, your host. So my name's Dom Joseph, and I've been working in sports media for about 6 years now, and I've always been into racing. It started with NASCAR back in 2004, but my dad got me into Formula One when I was a younger kid, still in grade school. The only race I would ever watch was Monaco, and that was Coke 600 Day, that was Indy 500 Day, Memorial Day weekend. And I would always get up early with my dad so we could watch the Monaco Grand Prix, and he would show us the Ferraris, the McLarens, the Red Bulls, and we'd pick our favorites. I always thought that the McLaren cars, the chrome and orange McLarens were the coolest ones, but I always associated with Ferrari because of my dad. And, but make no mistake, I'm not going to be doing any sort of bias towards any team. I'm not going to be biased towards a specific team. I'm going to be neutral all the way through and through. I'm not going to go on long tangents about a specific team just so that I can make myself happy and make specific fans of specific teams happy. I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to be completely neutral and not be biased towards any team. So remember, don't pin me to a specific team because I'm not going to be biased towards a specific team. I'm going to be completely neutral to every single team, as you will see throughout this entire year. It's a nice car, isn't it? So I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to the first episode of Track Limits, our introduction video. Hope you guys are excited as I am for this upcoming season. We've still got a ways to go before the season opener in March, but trust me, it's going to be a great 2022. There's a brand new car coming, all new rules and regulations, but don't worry, we're going to get you guys dialed in for it right before the season starts and even before preseason testing, and we'll get you set up for that as well. Like and subscribe down in the comments below. Let us know who your favorite team is or who your favorite driver is. It could be a current driver or a historical driver, but let us know in the comments. We'd love to see that, and maybe we'll feature you in another episode. We'll just have to wait and see. Thank you guys so much. I'm Dom Joseph for Track Limits. And remember, Forza Ferrari.